powerful advantage that most people don't use or they're afraid to use is being alone. This is part of the journey that most people don't talk about. The quiet mornings, the empty gyms. I prefer empty gym because I get more stuff done. But the day nobody texts you, if you know that feeling, you know what I'm talking about. But it's really like you feel like you're doing it all for nothing. But what if I told you that's where the real transformation begins? Even if you look at Superman, he had the Fortress of Solitude. Look what it done for him. But being alone, actually, that's where you build discipline because there's no one there to impress. You're not looking for validation and there's no applause. Actually, this is where discipline is born because now you can either say you can say who you're going to become or you don't. And at the end of the day, you only have no one to blame but yourself. So it strips away any excuse. That's why I think being alone really is a superpower because I think that's where you really begin to lock in because no one's going to save you but yourself, you know? And once you start validating yourself or you start doing things on your own, that's when you become dangerous. And it's the best thing that can happen to you. All right. Being alone actually teaches you to learn on yourself. Most people are afraid to face themselves. This is why you always call like busybodies. You see people always working around doing something or trying to stay busy. Sometimes you have to be in stillness. You know what I'm saying? Really stop all the distractions around you and really focus on yourself and really get in tune in who you are, whether it's controlling your thoughts, your actions, and really figure out what triggers you and what habits that you have and what to break them. But you can only do that once you can accept being alone. Because like I said, you're facing you. And that's how the growth becomes, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you learn more about yourself. And that's when you know your strengths and weaknesses. And your weaknesses aren't a bad thing. It's for you to become more aware and you build upon them to become stronger. I remember reading Michael Jordan's book, Rare Air, right? And he said with if a opponent pushes him to what they perceive to be a weakness, he will work on it in the game. So now you gave him he'll turn that weakness into a strength. And then now you gave him more tools in his toolbox to use against you. So actually therefore you helped him become a better basketball player. So we can use that same principle in our fitness journey, you know. And it's not really about motivation anymore. It's just having certain standards as well. I'm a firm believer that less is more. Everybody thinks that the more you do is the more outcome you get. But if you study nature, it's totally the contrary. It's simple, but it's not easy. Um, when I think when people are constantly around other people, their opinions start to shape you, and you start going with the crowd or the sheep. That's what they call people, sheep. You know what I mean? Um, like I said, I do interviews, and where people will talk about they're going too heavy, you're doing too much, you're too strict. They start to put their projections onto you and their fears and doubts, and that can definitely impede your growth and your development. So, but when you're alone, that noise disappears. It's like in A Man of Steel, where Clark was getting his powers, and he started hearing everyone's thoughts, and his mom was like, "Yo, just focus on my voice." But what she was in, and by him doing that, he only heard his mother's voice at the time. But she was teaching him how to cancel out the noise and find the stillness within himself. So by canceling out that noise, whether it's a distraction from our phones, the television, our iPad, the internet, cancel it out and really listen to the inner voice and tune in with yourself and sharpen your focus. And that's how you accelerate your results, really. And when you're focused, that's how you increase the intensity or the overload, like with your body. You know, it's something that I want to clear up too. Some people feel like there's a loneliness versus purpose kind of thing. Being alone doesn't make you lonely. They're two different things. Loneliness is when you feel empty inside, but being alone is with purpose, and that's where your power is. And to be honest with you, whether if you have a anchor spiritually, You're never alone. One of the things that I would refer to is footsteps. I don't know if you know the poem Footsteps, and he was like, "There's one set of footprints, but that's when I carried you." Y'all can look that up for yourself and get the gist of that. But now when you do every rep, every meal, every morning, it has intention behind it. So you're not lost, you're really locked in. And that's what being alone is about. It's about being intentional, being more purpose driven to get the desired outcome that you want. And when you become more intentional, that's when you become unstoppable, you know, because you're not looking for approval. I did many videos before where people are looking to be validated. It's when we post something on Instagram, how many likes I got, you know, and we think if we don't have enough likes, we're not making an impact. Oh, only 100 people saw my videos. Oh man, it's not viral, but that's 100 more that you couldn't reach before. And think about it. If you're in a room with 100 people, that's a lot of people. So your message is getting out there. And once we just do whatever we're doing, not for a desired outcome, life is a little bit better. It's much more easier, and we're much freer of doing certain things. You realize when you don't care about certain things, that's when things starting to flow to you. So we have to let go of being outcome driven. All right, because nothing, we don't have any control over that. Just do the best you can and keep producing what you're producing. All right. So, in my conclusion, you know, it always feels like we're not in season, but just keep planting them seeds, keep stacking those wins. Uh, Everything is not a setback. That's where you separate yourself, and during your journey as well, you get more locked in. You're gonna lose people. I said this over and over time. That's just the evolution of things, and then gaps widen, but that's okay, you know, because as you extend, you're gonna meet people where you are. That's gonna help you get to where you're going to get, where you're going, help you where you're going to go. All right, so level my words, but this what separates, by having the power of being alone, separates you from good people, and that really separates the good from the elite. And if you want to be elite, you have to do things alone. It's almost like the lone wolf syndrome, but if you look at the lone wolf, they're strong by themselves, but they also run in a pack. All right, they can hold their own, but they can run in a pack. It's like if you watch people who only act tough when they're in a crowd. When you catch them by themselves, they're totally a different person. You don't want to be that person. You want to hold your own by yourself and then in a group as well. All right. So y'all stay locked in, stay focused, and use the time by yourself as a positive. You know, a drought is always a good thing sometimes because you can lock in and see what you need to work on to prepare yourself to be better. All right. So stay focused, y'all. Stay dangerous and stay alone. Only for a time being, it has its purpose. But if you like this message and it resonates with you, like, comment, subscribe, and also share. And also, I'm an online fitness coach as well. Click the link in the description, see if we can help you. I'll be Fitness signing off, where we transfer from lead to gold. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Peace.